well and staying safe. Today we're going to trial a loom lesson. It's one of my first ones. Some things will go well, some things will go poorly. Apologies at any time if my cat joins in the video. She used to love being on camera and is circling my laptop as we speak. So we're going to start with our do now. Today we are looking at nuclear issues. That ties in with our nuclear fusion, our nuclear fission, and our radioactivity topic. If you'd like to pause the video now and work through the do now, that would be grand. Okay, moving on to the answers. So you've got an alpha particle is positive. You've got a description of nuclear fusion. That's when two smaller atomic nuclei, it's so important to use that word nuclei, not just say two small atoms, two smaller atomic nuclei fuse together to make a larger atomic nuclei. This releases that two or more neutrons and energy. You've then got an area where nuclear fusion occurs, that is the sun. The next stage in our sun's life cycle would be a red giant stage. What I want you to be thinking about here is why our sun becomes a red giant and why other stars might become a red supergiant. You've then got what stops each type of radiation. It could be thick sheets of lead or concrete for gamma. A hybridoma cell is made up of a tumor cell and a lymphocyte. What I'd like you to be thinking of is why is it made up of a lymphocyte? What is the function of a lymphocyte? Hopefully you remember it is to produce those antibodies. Interestingly, monoclonal antibodies are currently being used as a diagnostic test for coronavirus. Finally, onto lithium. The flame of lithium produces a crimson red flame. So, onto our lesson. We're going to be looking at background radiation and where does it come from. So, we are constantly surrounded by radiation at all points. Even now, as I'm talking to you, myself and you are receiving a dose of radiation. This radiation we're constantly surrounded by is known as background radiation. It's measured in sieverts. This is a unit where you measure it, but you do not need to know this for your exam, but it is just an interesting piece of information. So, can you think of any sources of this background radiation? I'll give you a few seconds now to try and think any, maybe jot a few down if you can. So, here are some of the sources of background radiation. Nuclear power, medical, X-rays, ground and buildings. Granite, which is a type of rock, actually releases quite a large amount of radiation compared to other rocks. In houses, you've probably got smoke alarms which contain alpha particles, therefore release a small amount of radiation. What I want you to try and do now is to guess which of these sources account for what percentage of our background radiation. Okay, your next task is could you note down the sources and the percentages. So for example, medical, 14%. That's things like X-rays. Once you've done that, I want you to decide which of these sources are natural sources of background radiation and which are artificial, man-made. If you'd like to pause the video now and complete this, please. Another pie chart. So this shows you the natural and artificial sources of background radiation. The artificial one are your nuclear power, your weapon tests. You've then got your medical. It's going to be things like your X-rays. Also, certain types of cancer treatment, radiotherapy, do use radioactive sources. So the ones in purple, these show artificial sources. You've then got your natural ones, radon and boron gas. We're going to focus more on radon because that is the one that is in your syllabus. So, in a bit more detail now. So, radon and boron gas, they release rocks under the ground. As I previously said, granite contains quite a large amount of uranium, which will then be will decay into radium and radon gas. If anyone's interested more in this, it is worth looking up something like the radium girls. The radium girls, as they were a group of women working in a factory that exposed to large amounts of radium. So what happens? The uranium in the rocks decays. This produces other isotopes such as radium. This can then decay into radon. Depending on where you live, you are more likely to be exposed by background radiation from rocks. As well as that, if you live underground, you're even more likely to be exposed to it. Or more likely if you work underground. So there's two things I want you to be thinking about now. I want you to be thinking about what does the term isotope mean? And, so what does the term isotope mean? And what group of workers might receive a lot of background radiation? Could you pause the video now and record an answer to each one of those questions? Thank you. An isotope. An isotope is an atom of an element that contains the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. The type of workers that might receive a lot of background radiation are workers like miners or people who work in a quarry. So, certain parts of the country have stronger background radiation than other types. For example, in Cornwall, because of the granite, they have a larger back dose of radiation. In fact, in Cornwall, if you live there, you're exposed to 3 times the yearly average of other people. Here in Snodland, we are quite well when it comes to our radioactive doses that we receive. So, radon. Radon has a half-life of 3.8 days. That means that every 3.8 days, half of the radioactive particles decay. That's what the term half-life means. If you're unsure on this term, please go after this video and look up the term half-life. So it is an alpha particle when it decays. My task for you is kind of brain dump what you know about alpha particles, how penetrating they are, how ionizing, their charge, what are they made up of, what stops them, how are they traveling in air, and then whether you think radon gas is dangerous. If you could pause the video now, please, and complete that task. Okay, moving on. So, unlucky Alf, the level of background radiation, as we said, will change depending on where you live and also what you do. I want you to suggest what Alf does in his leisure time, maybe, what he does for a job, where he lives, he has in his house, etc. So, for example, Alf could be a bit of a safety freak. He might have upwards of 20 smoke alarms in his house. This would increase his background dose of radiation. He may be particularly fond of walnuts, which are one of the foods highest in radiation. Okay, please pause the video and tell me what you think about Alf. Okay, thank you. Moving on. So, will background radiation hurt me? It's an important question to look at. Okay, obviously you won't be able to think per share. What I do want you to think about is what factors you think will determine whether radiation will harm you or not. Okay, there are 4 factors that really decide whether radiation will harm you. It is a type of radiation, whether it's alpha, beta, or gamma. The dose of radiation. In very low doses, because we expect background radiation normally, it's generally very safer. The amount of time you expose it. Being exposed to a large dose in a very quick amount of time is much more dangerous as to being exposed to a large dose over years. And finally, whether the source was inside or outside your body. That really ties in with the first one, the type of radiation. Because inside the body, alpha particles, alpha rays, are a lot more dangerous. It's very ionizing, but it's not very penetrating. It can't penetrate the skin. For outside the body, it is dangerous. If you'd like to take a moment now to get down the different factors that affect radiation, please pause the video to do that. On to some questions. 4 questions here, last one being a challenge. I'd like to pause the video through these and then we'll look at answers momentarily. Okay, moving on to the answers now. I won't talk you through them this time, quite a lot here. Please pause the video and correct your answers. Tip, correct, cross, whatever you need. Okay, moving on. I want you to answer this 6-mark question. Women over 50 are invited to a mammogram, that's a scan of the tissue, every 3 years. This is to help detect breast cancer. The mammogram exposes them to 130 microsieverts of ionizing radiation. Now, I want you to write down whether you think this is an acceptable risk. I want you to think about how the risk of the test might be outweighed by other risks, and I want you to use this table on the next page to compare the dose of radiation to other events in our life. If you need to write anything down, please do, because in a moment I'm going to move to the next page that shows you the table. Okay, so this here shows different level of radiation. So just to remind you, a exposed to 130 microsieverts, whereas an airplane from New York to LA exposes someone to 20 microsieverts. You get more radiation than flying because you're up, therefore you receive more cosmic rays. The radiation worker has a 1-year limit of 50 microsieverts, that is 50,000 microsieverts. Okay, I'm going to stop talking now. I want you to use this information, pause the video, write me an answer. So, on some more exam questions. There's 2 here. I'd like to pause the video and look through both of them. I'll get the answers momentarily. Alexa, stop. Please. Alright, pause the video and work with questions, please. Okay, I'm going to show you the answers now. So, a sort of visual background, X-rays, smoke alarm, nuclear power plants, nuclear weapon tests. If anyone's interested by the nuclear weapons, it's worth looking up something known as the Bikini Atoll. Atoll. Bikini Atoll. So, certain areas contain certain types of rocks. So, for areas such as Cornwall, a large amount of granite or release activity, whereas other areas contain less of these rocks, therefore release less radiation. Next, explain why some people are exposed to more gamma radiation than others. Okay, I'll show you the answer. If you don't need time, please pause the video. So it could be where they live. It could be where they work. They work in a forest. Maybe such as Cornwall, where you've got a lot of gamma radiation. Maybe they live near Chernobyl or other areas of nuclear fallout. Maybe they have a lot of X-rays. Maybe they're a pilot and are therefore more exposed to costs because they're higher up. On to disposal of nuclear waste. So when we make electricity, when we make electricity from nuclear power, it creates radioactive waste. So when we deal with radioactive waste, we're very quite careful. So we use certain type of uranium fuel rods. These are classified as high level waste. They're very radioactive and they get very hot. Once they become waste, we're no longer using them. They are stored in water for up to a year. They then use remote control bots to open fuel and remove any unused nuclear fuel we use. When I think this, I think like a little robot like WALL-E. I don't know what a robot actually looks like though. Any remaining radioactive waste, have a long half-life, so it has to be stored for many years. It's decaying over a long period of time. So your low level waste. This could be clothing or cleaning material from nuclear power stations and hospitals. Nowadays, we how it used to just be at. So trying to work out how active isotope shape involves using their half-life. If it's short half-life, it will give out a large amount of radiation in a short time. They're more dangerous for a short period. A few years will have used to such a small amount that the danger is gone. With a longer half-life, it will give out that radiation over a longer period of time. Sorry about noise, that's my cat table. Okay, here now. Like video and work through these questions. Okay, here are your answers. Please check correct, tick, cross to do. Okay, to nuclear power, the pros and cons. So a big nuclear power was Chernobyl. Just know actually, the first nuclear power was actually in the UK. So Chernobyl, it was a part of the USSR. It was an accident in the UK. It was kind of the border between UK and Belarus. So there were 64 deaths of radiation sickness at the time, and there's been 4,000 deaths. A lot of people suffered from cancer onwards, and it had a lot of kind of can visit a place called Pripyat. Apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly. It is kind of an abandoned city near Chernobyl. It's been reclaimed by wildlife. Such as Preselaki horses in the area. Another major nuclear event was Fukushima, and there was another power plant in Japan experienced issues. It was called a tsunami. It flooded the defences, got into control rooms, and caused issues. If you're interested in finding about this more, please go and look it up. You then have a lot of nuclear events, such as the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'll talk about this today, but if you're interested, they tell a very strong caution tale about the nuclear power. Okay, so on to nuclear power. The benefits of it. It will last longer than fossils. It's not renewable, but the only very amount to predict it will last for a very long time. It releases more energy per kilogram than its other counterparts, and renewable energy parts. So you can that maths there, it releases quite a lot more energy than coal, which is fossil fuel. It does emit greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. As you know, it's the global warming, which can lead to events such as droughts, habitat destruction, ice melting, rising sea levels. Okay, now the risks. That radioactive waste can have a really long half-life and be dangerous for thousands of years. They cost a lot more to build, to decommission, to dismantle off than a fossil power plant. Now accidents can happen. They're rare, but they can happen. Examples are Chernobyl and Fukushima. Apologies if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly. Okay, what I'd like you to do, you're going to write a letter to the MP and climate change. Mr. Karma. You need to convince him to either stop nuclear power plants in the UK or to increase the use of nuclear power plants. I've given you ideas of what you might talk about. You might talk about nuclear power plants. So you do know that a nuclear power plant uses nuclear fission. To describe the process of nuclear fission, you can talk about what radioactive sources used in nuclear fission. You can give me reasons to use nuclear power plants against it. You could maybe search a bit or more if you desire it. I then want you to form a conclusion at the end. There are certain words along the bottom. You might choose clues as well. An interesting one you might find is biodiversity. Now that doesn't make an explosion will integrate biodiversity. Explosion ways to benefit, but there are ways that using nuclear power leads to increased biodiversity. Try and make that link. Like pause videos and answer lists. If you'd like to send these over to the end, I'd happily to look through them. On to some questions. If you'd like to read through the question, pause the video and answer it. I will display the answer. Okay, so actually, it's quite. So we're planning to bury your nuclear. There's certain things you have to take account. You make sure the place you're burying it is geologically stable. You don't not want to make I know it's a very dramatic one, but there's changes in rock formation and fix that radioactive. You don't want water to be building around it to allow it to then leak. You need to be careful about the public perception, what the public about it. You also need to be transporting it where you've got to go. It's a very hard question, but in now, it comes up next time, it's easier. Okay, this is all the slide. I want from you now is for you to email or show work and let me know. It's the time I've done it. Little things that went well, went poorly. I want to know exactly well. What was used? What was bad? Did I talk too fast? Did I need anything more time? Was too much information? Too little information? All these things are me, and without your feedback on this, you won't improve. I hope you. I'm listening, teaching you. Stay safe and send you more work soon. See you later.